Here, another episode of Garage Talks. Aaron, and we got two special guests with us.
Hey, I'm Stardy Osland.
And I'm Western Gringa.
I guess we'll start with, because I've never asked y'all, so we'll start with Western Gringa first. What's your story? How'd you get into country music? What's your goal in the future? Some stuff you're working on for 2026.
So how I got into music, I guess I never really shared it with a lot of people, like my fans and my audience. I was an influencer first, and I've been in music, since I was about fifth or sixth grade. I played the drums when I was in high school. I was in the marching band, like the whole thing. I rocked out on the snare drum all the time, and my dad and I really shared like a huge passion for music, especially like classic rock and classic country. And so that's always been a huge part of my life. I guess I just never really shared it with my fans. And anyways, I last year in February, my boyfriend Marty texted me one day and was like, we should write a song, because he knew that I could sing, but I just like always kept it from the world because I never thought I was good enough to sing. I guess I would always compare myself to like finished recorded versions of
Right.
people's songs, and I would be like, well, I don't sound just like that, so I can't sing. Anyways, I taught myself how to sing. I actually drove a semi truck for my dad. He owned a cedar yard in Lakey, and I drove a truck and delivered cedar posts to a lot of ranches in South Texas and all over Texas. And that truck was just an old hunk of junk, for lack of better words. It had no AC.
Had radio though.
Actually, the radio did not work. My dad gave me a Marshall speaker, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I would take that speaker and I'd put it on the dash of the truck, and I would just turn on like my favorite 90s women country songs and sing along to them until I hit the notes, and taught myself how to sing that way. And so anyways, fast forward to February of last year, Marty texted me, we should write a song. I was like, dude, it's so much harder than that. It's not just that easy. Like, you don't just wake up and you're like, today I'm going to write a song. And anyways, I started on one, and it was pretty rough. I'm not
So
going
y'all
to lie.
write all your songs y'all have written together? Or?
No, Marty has put in a few lyrics, some ideas into my music, but through some of his friends, I met my co-writers that I currently work with. So anyways, February, he's telling me we should write a song. I'm working on it, and then I ended up meeting a guy, the co-writer I work with now, through one of Marty's friends. His name is Cliff Mullinax, and he works for Prefert. He sells shoots, and he's like, I've got this friend named Gabe Galvin. You should check him out, whatever. He starts playing his song, and when somebody usually shows you something in person, like, you're like, oh, okay, like,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I listened to it in person. It was Honky Tonk Casanova, the one I came out with, and I was like, holy shit, that's actually really good, and it's really funny. And so we got connected, and then Gabe is really good friends with my producer and everybody I work with now, and I was so blessed to kind of walk straight into like a very experienced room with people. I've got John Christopher Way. He played guitar for Kyle Park forever.
Yeah.
I've got Chris Dogie is my producer, and he played drums for Cody Canada forever. John DeMcBride plays bass for Aaron Watson, and he played for me in my studio band. And I mean, to me, you couldn't have asked for a better team to help me write my music and get it done. So yeah, that was kind of the process, and they definitely helped me build my confidence. And so that's where I'm at. That's how I got here, and now I'm just working towards it. And I think my goal in 2026 is definitely to make appearances out there in the world, get out and start singing a lot of live shows and get my face in front of a lot of people. I've built a lot of myself on the internet, but not as much in person besides going to rodeos as an influencer. And,
Right.
that's only going to get you so far. So I really need to let people hear my personality through my voice in person. So that's definitely my goal for 2026.
Awesome.
What type of influencer were you?
I was a Western
What were you
fashion and rodeo influencer.
Gotcha. So it's applicable.
Yeah, so it falls into the same category pretty much. I'm just kind of expanding a little bit more in the same niche.
Right. And transitioning from being the influencer to the country music, if you had a couple pieces of advice for somebody who might be in the same situation, maybe they're a 20-year-old that doesn't know how to take the jump, what would you say to them?
To be honest, the transition is very hard because you go into something that I don't really know a whole lot about, and it's definitely like low confidence has been a problem because a lot of people like to assume that you know absolutely nothing and there's no way you could ever learn anything. And so I guess my advice would try your best to just ignore everybody and just do what's in your heart and go for it, and listen to yourself. And Marty and I were kind of talking about this last night. We're just like, the mindset you have when you're a little kid that's just like, I can just do anything, you're invincible, like it's never going to stop you. Like that is the mindset. Just always try to keep that at the forefront of your mind all the time, in whatever you're transitioning into. I don't think it's just music. I think it's any industry where you're intimidated by people who want to intimidate you. Just keep that childlike mind that you can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, and everybody's different. Will Bannister run with it, and y'all too. Everybody's got that unique. There's something unique about it in the music industry too, and I think that's cool. Especially us getting together, hanging out, putting on shows like this, and it's a different vibe, old school vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
Which one do I take? Well, you definitely don't lack in confidence. It doesn't show because it seems like you know exactly what you're doing, like in all your videos. So
That's part of the game.
yeah, fake it till
Just
you make
act
it.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says. Fake it till you make it, and it really does pay off because, like you said, like in your videos, you can't tell that you're faking it at all. So I think that advice was perfect. But no, thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here in Lubbock.
Yeah, the Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl.
Wendy and
Prairie dogs. I started singing when I was like 12 or 13 years old. I started writing poetry first, and it was kind of, I was like in my teens, so there were boys, and I was kind of just writing down my feelings. And I just told my dad one day, like, I want to be a singer. And he said, well, get some songs ready and we're going to get on stage. And literally like a week later, we went to the local festival in San Antonio, and he put me on stage, and I sang like Selena song, a Patsy Cline song. I got a $2 tip, and I was like, this is it, this is it. So I just fell in love with performing and being on stage. So I did that for a long time, was just going to local festivals, singing. I started playing or singing at Cheatham Street with some of the guys from the Ace in the Hole band, from George Strait's band.
Oh, yeah.
And they became really good friends of mine. Again, I was still like 13 years old at this time. My parents would go with me to the bar, and I'd just sing, cover songs. And It Wasn't God Who Made Honky Tonk Angels, Your Cheating Heart, all the oldies, and just the stuff that I really loved, the stuff that my dad and my grandmother introduced me to at a young age. But I'd get up there and I'd sing with those guys, and they welcomed me with open arms, and I'd do that like once a week with them, and just started kind of getting in the flow and kind of learning how to, work the stage and work the microphone. And then I started really picking up the guitar when I was like 15, and I said, well, I'm going to write a song. I'm going to put my poetry to some music, and let's do this. So I wrote my first song at 15, and then just started writing from there. Performed almost every weekend in this one same place, and I ended up getting kind of discovered there and ended up signing with a record deal like in my 20s. And we had some success, and it was really awesome. We kind of toured all over the U.S., went to Europe, and did a lot of stuff around those parts. And so we had our first single, "She's Pretty,"
Yep.
and so that was an older sounding kind of traditional song, which I kind of tend to lean to. I love all of those kind of old school influences in
Yep.
my music.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of, there's some singers that I know personally, like they're over there in Europe and stuff in a different country trying to get their music out. I mean, I don't really, I mean, is that effective? Like, I don't know why they do that because at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I mean, do they do it because they're not successful here? I mean, I don't know. Are they trying to get a more variety?
There's like a really big fan base, country music fan base in Europe. Like I played this festival in Crepone, France, and it's one of the biggest country music festivals there. And it was huge. I mean, it was like a legit, like,
Yeah, real deal.
fairgrounds, like everything. There was a ton of people there, thousands of people, and they are hardcore country music fans. Like
I
they
know
love it.
Australia is.
Yeah,
Australia.
Australia's too.
That guy, Wade Forster.
Yeah, Wade Forster.
They still play like my songs over there, and so they definitely support, especially Texas artists. Like they love everything about Texas over there.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think
big
it's
deal.
more of like a, especially all these other countries. It's the same thing with music. They don't have the country music industry that we do. You
Right.
know, I mean, just Texas alone is crazy.
Yeah, I think that's why it's fun for us as like as artists to go over there and kind of get you get like a different response too, because the audience is different, and the way they the way they like love music there is different too. Like it might be like a more hardcore fan, or maybe they really like they listen to the music differently, or they like, I don't know. It's just a different
Yeah, it's different.
experience,
They all grew up different.
But so yeah, I was signed, and then I took a step back a little bit because I started my label was like, well, I want to, they started kind of doing something different with my music, and it just didn't feel authentic to me anymore. So I decided to kind of take a step back and become independent. And I took a little break. I have a family. My husband's here too, and my little boy, he's 8 years old. So I was a stay-at-home mom for many years, and I absolutely loved that. And then I decided to come back, and I've been writing, so I have so much music to put out. And we released our first single since being independent in September, called Adios Cowboy. And I wrote that one, and I'll be writing my entire album for the most part. I think maybe just like one song on there was co-written. And so we'll release that hopefully at the beginning of the year, the first quarter of the year anyway.
Yeah, awesome.
I was going to ask, in those 8 years when you had your son, you took off a full 8 years and just wrote?
Yeah, so I took off like about probably, I would say like a good five years, and there was some like moving transitions, coming back home and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely music never left me, like I was always writing. I was doing like gigs here and there, and like it just, there's no way, like once you are a musician, like it's just in your soul. There's no way you can stop, right? But yeah, I definitely use that time to grow too as an artist, to develop my writing skills, and because life is different from one season to the next. So you're always writing about, as a songwriter, you write about like real things that happen in your life, right? So
Yeah, you may have a bad, 2-3 months or.
yeah, so
Yeah.
everything's an inspiration,
For sure. So it was always kind of on your radar. I'm coming back, I just don't know when.
Yeah, it was on my radar for sure. I knew that, like, for me, family is like the most important thing. So I knew that when I had a child, like my focus was going to be that, and I definitely knew I was coming back because I want him to also see, like, okay, mom can do this. Like, mom's up there. Like, it's funny. Like, we were in the Chick-fil-A line the other day, and they asked your name. Like, okay, what's the name for the order or whatever? So I give him my name. He's like, Mom, why didn't they ask for your autograph? No, so he's starting to get it, and he's starting to love it. I have him in piano lessons, and so I'm hoping that like by watching what I'm doing, he'll kind of get inspired to do the same, or at least be musically inclined in some way, or use that to his advantage.
Sure. And I
As he
think
gets older.
anybody on the other side of the camera can be inspired too by both of y'all's story. You know, early success, signing, not right, had a kid, and now you're back. And then never knowing you wanted to be an artist outside of an influencer, and just pulling the trigger out of the blue. It's inspiring. So, I mean,
Yeah, I always get. I mean, just like me, I'll go up there and sing karaoke, but I ain't. You know, I ain't some. I get nervous, so I don't know how y'all do it.
I like this question. Have y'all ever screwed up on stage?
Absolutely. So I've definitely had moments where like you either forget the words. I've had a moment where I like tripped on stage and like almost busted my butt, but it was pretty graceful. So thank goodness for that. But no, I've definitely forgotten the words, and you just kind of got to play it off, you know. Half the people don't know, I feel like, because you just kind of, if you can play it off well enough. But I've definitely had my moments. What about you?
Well, I've never sang anywhere before. Tonight is my first show. So I sang in front of like 20, 25 people when we were filming my music video, and forgot the words. And we were filming a video for social media, and by about the 7th time, I got all the words right.
Yeah.
So
It's funny because it's like our own song, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's weird what nerves do to you. Like I used to, I guess, just watch videos of artists screwing up like that, and I'm like, you're like, how do you forget the own words of your song? You've sang it a million times, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's because
it's
we're
hard.
not just thinking about the lyrics. We're like, you got to think about like everything that you're doing
Your
at the moment.
vocals and-
Your vocals, your guitar playing, your performance, your, you know, the way you're standing, walking, looking at the crowd. It's like, oh, it's not just the lyrics, right?
So, what's your plan tonight?
Probably take a couple shots of Crown, a few deep breaths, and just try to ignore everybody in the room, and probably just sing to Sydney and Marty over there. Pretend they're the only ones there.
I feel like that's a good plan. Just find 2 people and just act like they're the only 2 there.
Yeah.
My dad
We'll
used
see.
to tell me, like when I first started singing, and I also had like the jitters, and I was like, what do I do? Who do I look at? Like, what do I do? He was like, just look at their forehead. Like, don't even look at their eyes. Just look at their forehead. That way you won't get nervous, you know, but it still looks like you're making eye contact. So I used to do that for a long time. I mean, I don't anymore, but it definitely helped me.
I feel like the part that I'm most nervous for is like people starting to pull out their phones.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're like, don't.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have this
Yeah.
Because we
forever.
know that's going to, you know, they're going to repost that stuff. But
So y'all are both singing acoustic, right?
I'm doing acoustic. You are too?
Yep.
Awesome.
Will is playing guitar for me.
Yep.
So
Well, he's an awesome guitar player, so you're lucky. Definitely much better guitar player than I am. So I'm excited to hear you tonight.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Let the crown do the work.
Let the crown do the work. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's next for y'all? Like after this show, I mean, what's your plans moving forward, and what's next?
So I mean, like I said, in 2026, I definitely need to do a lot more live shows and kind of get my stage legs and, you know, whatnot. And I think another goal of mine is to really figure out how to make like music into a pillar of my social media, because I feel like what I've noticed is a struggle for me lately is from being an influencer, I've gotten really good at being relatable through my videos to my audience, and then just like throwing music in there. Sometimes the songs don't like, or the content that goes with the songs doesn't necessarily match the videos I made that were relatable to everybody. It's kind of, I'm trying to find that blend, like how to get my personality all the way through everything I'm doing. So that's definitely one of the things I'm going to work on, the live shows, and probably trying to write with a lot of people, you know, get more experience in the studio, and meet as many people as I can to write with. One person that I'm looking forward to writing with is Tom Yankton. He did background vocals for my first song, He Never Looked at Me Like That, and he played with Rascal Flatts forever. And my whole thing is 90s music, so I'm like, I think that guy will be a big hit for me, hopefully. So yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so for 2026 for me, like I said, I have the album coming out. But I'm definitely going to continue writing, and even though you're recording one album, you're always working on the next one. So I'm definitely going to hope to put out a couple albums this following year, or this coming up year. And just want to get on some good shows and some bigger bills, and get my music out there, and just perform as much as possible. Like you said, I mean, just get out there. You gotta be in front of people, and so I'm excited to get back on stage and doing it regularly.
So what about festivals? I mean, is that our festival? Do they benefit? Is the money there?
Yeah, I think festivals are great. I think the live performances for a musician, I mean, that's where it's at. That's the bread and butter. That's where we're going to be making you fans, ultimately, because you can
you're drawing.
Post on social media, that is great. But where they're really going to make some hardcore fans, I feel like, is at your live shows.
Yep.
And that's
why I like festivals. I think festivals are good too, because, there's so many singers. Everybody's drawing.
Yeah.
Somebody may only like David Lee Murphy or whatever, but they're going to be there watching,
Yeah, definitely. So that, that's one of the things, is getting on some big festivals like that, and good lineups. I have an amazing producer that's going to be working with me for the rest of the album, Patrick Lyon, and he is just one of the best. He's right now, he does some of Sam Stone stuff. She's amazing. Nolene Hoffman. And so he's big time, and he's making big waves right now in the industry. So I'm excited to work for him, with him on the album, and just continue trekking along and touching people with my music as much as possible. Getting on stuff like this with you guys, and helping each other out that way. But that does lead me to my next prompt here. So I have a little surprise for you guys and girls. Can we bring out the salsa, please?
I saw y'all brought that. I was like, man, I better search them up.
Do y'all like salsa?
You made it, yeah.
I did. I literally made this in my silo about 45 minutes ago. Yes. Okay, so I made some salsa for y'all special.
Okay.
You say your salsa, guys. You say you like it hot. Western Gringa likes it hot too, she said. So I did make these salsas not too long ago, and I was like, this would be perfect, because also you were asking me about my plans for 2026, and one of those plans is to get a segment going where, just like us, we're talking about country music, what's going on in the industry, over some great homemade salsa. Okay?
Can't complain.
So I have 3 different salsas. So I got mild, medium, and hot. Okay. My dad taught me how to make salsa because he had a restaurant when I was little where actually George Strait would frequent, and it was one of his favorite places to eat in San Marcos. But my dad, he's a chef, and he had a restaurant when I was little, so he taught me all the stuff. So I kind of have a love for cooking anyway. So these are it. I don't have names for the salsas yet, but the actual brand name is Guillermo. That's my dad's name. So it's Guillermo salsa. So how do y'all want to do this?
I'm going to try the hottest one.
You're going to try the hot first?
Well, the hottest one.
Okay, let's see. Hold on. All right, so these are the salsas, right? So we've got mild, medium, spicy. This is Guillermo salsa's recipe, okay? And then you have your chips here. So who wants to go first? I'll just take a chip and dip her in.
That's the hottest one?
That's mild. Yeah, y'all go for it. Oh, okay. He's going for it.
Hot.
Is it warm?
That one was hot.
That was mild hot.
So that mild one is made with serrano. The medium is jalapeno, and that one there is habanero. Okay. Tell me what y'all think.
I love it.
It's tastes fresh, very fresh.
It's fresh. Which one did you try?
I tried the mild.
Okay, now I'm
Damn,
gonna ask you
habanero
some
is
questions while you're trying them. So,
away.
what are y'all's plans for 2026?
Well, I mean, I'm not much of a planner really, but you know, we got some stuff we're in the works of doing, and you know, kind of my vision is, you know, playing something once a month, playing something once a month. You know, Cowboys Red River, Broken Spoke, you know, places like that, and get, you know, 3 or 4 singers, you know, like y'all, and come together and put on a show, and you know, it's gonna be called the Throwback Jam. You know, just old style country music.
Yeah.
People having a good time, and you know, I think it's different.
Yeah.
You know, especially with the hour segment karaoke. But I like karaoke. You know, and the way I see it is, who doesn't like karaoke?
Yeah.
I mean, have a good time, drink beer, and dance floor, and so that's kind of. I mean, we got quite a bit of stuff we're planning, and
It's
that's
a great way to get people together, you know, different artists and like influencers, artists, you know, everybody together.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, honestly, like, you know, majority of people, like, I grew up listening to old school country, right? And that's because my dad, you know, and I'm sure all y'all are probably similar in some way. You know, you heard it from your dad, whatever. And, you know, we all pretty much grew up the same, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the people who, if you grew up listening to Gary Stewart, Mel Tillis, like, you were probably raised a certain way.
Right.
So in some way or fashion, we're all similar. And, you know, it's just, you know, I like building relationships, making friends. And
Yep. We all have that in common. We all love like older traditional country music. You know? And it's important to keep that alive, you know, like to keep that alive, because a lot of the like new generations coming up, like that could be lost. But if like we continue to put that on blast and, you know, be making events of it and keeping it in our music and writing that way, like that's important to stay true to country music and not lose those roots.
yeah,
It's coming back though, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be 80 years old still listening to songs in 1980.
Right.
It's crazy to think about, though, you know. I mean, hell, that song be 100 years old.
Yeah. Music is like one of the things that I feel like unites us so much, and food. I think food is like secondary to that, you know. So that's why I thought like putting salsa or putting food and music together in one thing, I felt was like felt good to me.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So how are you doing over there? Because you look like you're kind of you're getting a little warm over there.
My eyes are burning.
Oh, he's going back for the habanero. Did you try the hot one?
I did.
Is it
Yeah, it's good.
the habanero one? Is it too spicy?
It's all right.
That's a wrap for this episode. We appreciate you ladies coming out. It was a pleasure getting to learn your story and, you know, your future goals and everything.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yes,
no
thank you for
problem.
having us.
Come on out and enjoy the show tonight.